Hey everybody, George Moorhead, Bentley Properties. Today, 10 contractor scams that you want to be mindful of and know a little bit about before you hire a contractor. Again, my name is George Moorhead with Bentley Properties. I have sold over 2,000 residential and commercial properties and can help guide you through the process of today's subject, understanding contractor pitfalls, things to avoid, kind of warning flags, to kind of keep in mind and following that gut of yours. All right. So had a couple of questions that came up from last week and from the prior one. So let's go through these real fast. George, you mentioned, what is a stress test on a septic system? All right. On a septic system, which is also called an on-site sewer system, right? Meaning that, everything comes out, goes into the tank, and then goes out to a field. When we talk about stress testing a system, especially an older system, you want to make sure that you expose the D box or the distribution box, right? Because the big tank goes into this little box, which then the lines kind of spaghetti out from there. And what you want to do is you want to expose that, make sure that the box is good so that it disperses properly, right? And then you put a garden hose in those lines, and you really want to go to your garden hose, turn that bad boy all the way up, and turn on your watch or your timer, and then time it. And you want that to be able to run for a minimum of 2 minutes. In other words, as you're pumping, let's figure that the average faucet's kicking out, let's figure about 60, 70 gallons per minute. You want to flood that line. In other words, as that goes in, is the line able to accept it, right? Or does it start boiling back? Does it start coming back into the D box? That would be the sign of a failed sewer system or an on-site sewer system, all right? And that's something to keep in mind. And this way you have at least knowledge going into it. If you're buying an as-is property, okay, well then you need to talk about a field replacement depending on yard size and everything else. We actually did this with one of our clients, with Lynn. And one of the requirements that we had actually written in is they did a stress test of the lines. And when they did, voila, the field failed. Well, the problem is that with new designs today, you have to have room enough for one field plus that same amount of space for what they call the reserve field. And there are going to be exceptions on, homes that, are only, 15,000 square feet. There's not enough room. Okay. So with that, they have to get to some innovative systems. Their innovative system, it added up to about $22,000 in savings for Lynn, which was awesome sauce. And that's one of the things that you want to make sure that whomever you're working with understands what is required, okay? Because most of the time, these guys, they go out, they pump it, they look at it. There are more guidelines, more recommendations that are coming to the forefront in many of the counties. We deal with Pierce, King, and Snohomish County. And, those stress tests are now starting to become a little bit more commonplace, but you'll need to make sure that you ask, all right? And that really is the key component to ensure that as your family moves in, that you don't have a failed system, which then, again, can account for, tens of thousands of dollars. So keep that in mind. All right, next one. George, your sense of humor seems to be coming out on your videos. That's not a question. Well, there's a question after it. Okay, so I'm on good behavior most of the time when I'm here, and yes, every once in a while my sense of humor does come out. Can you talk about foreclosures? The answer is yes. I've been dealing with foreclosures for almost my entire 26 years practicing real estate. In fact, that's actually how I got into real estate. But that's going to be something we're going to address in the weeks to come, and probably just a couple of weeks, and we'll have to break that one down into a couple of different steps. May do an overview like we did with the inspection, and then break it down into pieces, because buying, okay, so there's two things. So foreclosure is a process, right? It's like traveling is a process, right? Bank owned is the destination of that travel. You stopped, right? So you need to make sure that you understand foreclosures, meaning that the bank doesn't own it yet, right? That's a process. And there's a lot of risk involved in that, and a lot of time and energy that goes into those, really, because only about 3% of them are ever worth purchasing based on debt, based on the condition of the property and price and everything else, right? Okay, bank owned, again, like we're dealing with one today, it's you got to understand, the banks don't do anything to these homes. Sometimes they do, paint, carpet, vinyl, put lipstick on a pig, make them look nice, put them up at market value because our inventory is so low, and we're still one of the, the top 8 sweet spot markets throughout the United States. So they know that they're able to make their money back. So bank-owned properties aren't as big of a benefit these days, right? And looking at other alternatives might be more advantageous, okay? Banks don't do anything on a home. Just understand that. It's as is, right? And you need to accommodate for that, and some financing won't cover it. You need to know that going in front, so the person you're working with needs to have a very clear understanding of a condition and what is and what is not going to be approved or accepted by a lender for financing, okay? All right, the last one. Is it a good idea to always get an inspection? You gotta be kidding me. Always, always, always get an inspection. Even if it's a pre-inspection, which has some risk to it, right? Meaning you may not get the property, but always get an inspection. It's a cheap insurance policy. It allows you to clearly understand what the property condition is, so you know exactly what to expect. Okay, I need to budget for this, or I need to negotiate this. It's absolutely the smartest thing to do. People who go in and buy a home without an inspection, and if you did this, sorry, just don't do it. Always get an inspection, always. They're $450, $425, bigger homes, $650. I mean, we're talking much bigger homes, right? But it's cheap insurance. You go in with a much better understanding, a neutral third set of eyeballs looking at the property with your best interest at heart. Always get an inspection, always, okay? We have a list of inspectors if you need them. I'll have Marie go ahead and post that on the site so you have access to them. They're in no specific order. I think they're in alphabetical order, actually. And these are people that are vetted, people that we have used that give good inspections and have logic behind it, not just arbitrary, capricious comments in them, right? Things that are actually valid, okay? All right, so with that, hey, let's get back to our contractor scams. That's what today is about, right? All right. Understand you have access to all of the vendors that we use. As you may remember, I do build homes, and you have access to these vetted, competent, professional, quality contractors. All right. We'll post the link. We're creating a better page for them so that you guys, it's a little bit more clickable. Click on the phone number, boop, already pops up for it. And so we're going to make it easier for you. If you need something, reach out. We do about 15 referrals every single week to different contractors, whether it's plumbing, electrical, roofing, carpet, hardwood floors, appliances, things like that. Let us know because you get my pricing. I don't get anything for it. It just ensures that these people have been vetted by us. They guarantee to do the best job for you. You pay them direct so you know you're getting best pricing, all right? And you're going to hear how they don't do this, all right? Okay, so let's go with the first one. Scare tactics. I think one of my favorite, all-time favorite scare tactics. We were in Seattle. We were looking at a brick Tudor house, and it had, of course, an absolutely amazing brick chimney on it. And the contractor came out, happened to been in the neighborhood of all things, said, "Hey, I think that chimney's about to fall over. That thing's not in good condition. Man, if that falls over and hurts somebody, man, that is going to be some liability for you. We'll give you a price to go ahead and repair your chimney." Okay, well, it had just been repaired. Okay, so yes, older homes tend to have some inherent issues. However, the seller had just paid $15,000 to tinker the entire chimney to ensure that it was in good condition, all right? So you have to be careful. Anybody who comes in to use a scare tactic to motivate you, to use fear, right, to motivate you to do work, that's a bad sign. Kick them to the curb. Give me a call. You'll find out that many times these guys are just roaming through a neighborhood trying to drum up business, okay? All right. Second one, the hasty quote. This is my all-time favorite. Okay. I personally have dealt with this a number of times. We'll be, working on a project or whatnot, and, we'll have a contractor. They come in and they'll say, "Oh, yeah, look at this work." Or they'll say, "Oh, yeah, I had this guy come out and he's bidding this work." And I'll say, "Okay, great, yeah, show me, what are you going to do?" Okay, and I'll get an idea. And I'll say, "Okay, well, where's his estimate?" And they hand me this little scrap of paper, and it'll say like $5,800 on it. And I'll look at that and I'll say, Did he give you something like on an 8.5 by 11, something that has some verbiage on it? I'm like, no. But he said, he can do this for us, $5,800. Is that a good price? Is that a good idea? I'm like, time out. Any contractor worth their salt is going to give it to you in writing with a written guarantee. Okay? They're going to spell out exactly what it is. All right? With that, you want to make sure that the price seems realistic. You know the old adage, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. All right, same thing. Be mindful of that. And if you have questions, shoot it by me. I can pretty much tell you, any of the clients that have been out with us, I'm almost always dead spot on with quoting price. When you've been doing it this long, you kind of get a feel for it. Every once in a while I'm off, but not by much, okay? So keep that in mind. There are some contractors that will overbid you, all right? Again, you just need to understand what that is. For the ones that underbid you, okay, understand their goal. Their goal is to come in, start the job and say, well, you know what? I'm really sorry about this, but you got additional things we did not bid. And all of a sudden, now that work order starts to double, triple, right? And it really was everything that was obvious or should have been at that time and bid correctly. So make sure that when you take a look at the itemized list that you're very detailed with it, right? Break out that CP brain of yours, CPA brain, there we go, that very technical, and make sure you understand exactly what you're getting, what that price includes, and what it excludes, all right? Which is important, all right? Okay, if you have a contractor that comes in and, they might look good, fancy car, nice suit, be concerned about a general contractor in a suit. Anyway, just saying. And they don't have any identification. Like they don't have a business card. On their bid sheet, they don't have an address. Okay. They may have like a P.O. box. Well, okay, so a lot of guys will have a P.O. box, but they also have a physical address. Why? Because you need to know how to contact them. If something comes up, you need to know how to physically get a hold of them, but not at a P.O. box, right? And that's absolutely critical because you need to know if there's a problem, how to get a hold of them. And in fact, ask them, hey, what's your physical address? Now, understand, there are many contractors or what we call self-employed independents, right, that actually have a home office. Okay, that's fine. Many of the vendors that we actually refer out have home offices. It doesn't make them any less competent or any less skilled, okay? Just understand, but where is it? Okay, and you need that physical location. And then as you do, go in, make sure that, that actually exists, right? And it's not, 40 acres. We had one, it was, like 40 acres out in the middle of a swampland in Carnation where there was no house. And that was the first red flag, right? Because whenever I said, I don't see a house here. I don't see anything here. In fact, it says it's vacant land. And lo and behold, it was, right? When challenged, he just disappeared. Red flag, right? Let's talk about referrals. When we talk about getting that address, all right, there are some guys that are going to say, oh, you know what? To protect the privacy of our clients, I don't want to share their information with you. What a bunch of hooey, all right? Understand, any contractor who does a great job is going to want to ask that question, just like we ask. Hey, if we did a 5-star, bang-up, beautiful job, did we earn the right to be a referral source for you, your friends, and your family? And if the answer is yes, they're going to say, great. I will always call you first, but can I use you as a reference? And if they did a bang-up job, you say, yeah, that's absolutely fabulous, right? Okay. They will do the same thing. Anybody who is unwilling to give you a reference, that is a major red flag. That one, where you see the guys with the banners, right? That's a major red flag. And you need to actually start to step away from that because what they're saying is, hey, man, I understand you want me to, give you some of my past work, but my past work sucks. And I don't want you talking to anybody because I did really bad work here, or they were unsatisfied, or it's incomplete, and I don't return phone calls, and I don't finish things timely, and oh, by the way, I'm going to overcharge you. They don't want you to know that, and therefore they are not going to hand that information out. All right. Also, guys that tend to canvas a neighborhood, remember like the guy with the chimney I was telling you about? All right, those guys, they will go in, they will canvas a neighborhood, poof, and they disappear, okay? So be mindful. You want to make sure that they are being vetted correctly, because you're going to spend thousands of dollars with these people, all right? Make sure you do your homework. Okay, pressure tactics, all right? A classic one is, hey man, you got to sign this now. Prices are going up next week. We know that that our lumber prices are going to go up next week. You need to sign this today so we can lock in this price. That fits back into that. This is a bunch of hooey. I understand that. Yes, market volatility, lumber prices, whatever, asphalt, oil, it is always changing. All right. Any professional, competent contractor is going to give you a 30-day written price with a written guarantee. Okay? Always. Understand. Ask for the guarantee, ask for the references, and make sure that you're not being swayed by the, okay. So I call it the auctioneering syndrome, right? There's a greater desire for gain when there's a sense of loss, right? That's why auctions are so, I'm going to lose this, I got to bid higher, right? Well, in this circumstance, we're saying, hey, prices are going to go up. Prices are going up 20% next week. Oh, if I say that, I can say 20%, I'll do the math. Oh, that's like $2,500. Oh, I'll sign today. Oh, come on. Look, they are going to understand they are bidding product that they see, and it is subject to change all the time, right? Okay, but they're going to give you a written guarantee because they know products change, and so they've added that buffer. They've included that margin into that if they're anticipating pricing is going up, okay? Or they'll separate the line item out, okay? Which again is still written. Hey, here's today's pricing. It's good for 30 days. If we go beyond that, material list needs to be adjusted. Fine, okay, that's fine. Totally get that, right? Okay. My favorite one, which we see all the time, we kind of touched on this a little bit ago. I'm in the neighborhood, right? Which is my favorite. I'm in the neighborhood. The classic, I think, roofing, painting, and asphalt. And of course, a couple of my buddies that are doing asphalt. Hey, Russ. When I say when he's starting to laugh, I'm sure he's laughing right now. When he says, "Hey, I was in the neighborhood doing your neighbor's driveway, and I have extra product, and I have just enough to do your driveway that really needs some help. Okay, I'll give you a really good deal, cash." All right. First of all, contractors buy only the absolute amount that they need. There is no advantage, especially with asphalt, to do this. Okay, I've had a couple of clients, and in fact, one of our agents, they called me and said, "Hey, I have this guy, and he said he's got extra product, and he would like to do my driveway, and he's willing to do it for cash." And of course, I start laughing and I say, "No. Item number one: go talk to your neighbor. How'd they find them? How did they vet them? And where are they from? By the way, ask him if he took a math class, because why does he have that much asphalt left over to do an entire new driveway? That's insane, okay? Absolutely insane." And Russ is laughing, going, "Yeah, you're absolutely right. That would be crazy, right?" So it's not like you can return it. "Hey, I'd like to get my money back. I bought too much asphalt." That's why you see, and when they do concrete pours, you always see what we call the spoils. You see this big section. You say, "What's that big pile of concrete?" That's what's left over, because they can't take it back. It's the same thing, all right? So understand, contractors, competent contractors will only buy exactly what they need. Now, it's a little different if they say, "Hey, we're in the area, because we're here, we'd like to offer the neighbors, a slight discount, because we're here to do additional jobs." Yeah, even that is kind of marginal, but okay, let's say so. Again, go talk to the neighbor. How did they vet them? What do they look like online? Are they giving you a written guarantee? There is no such thing as cash, right? You need recourse, right? Okay, be mindful of that. So that's a very common, we're in the area, we're painting, we have 15 gallons too much. Well, you should learn how to do math. That's my solution. Be mindful of that. Be very careful of the quality, because most of the time, you're getting a very poor quality. And once these guys leave, you're never going to hear from them again. So be careful with that. And, just if you have questions, call me, text me, email me, whatever, give me a call. We'll make sure that at least we can look at your estimate. We can vet the contractor really fast. We have, our system is set up for it. We'll do what we can to help you out, right? No strings attached. All right, upfront payment. All right, never, ever pay a contractor upfront. Now, the only exception to this, right, is if you're dealing with a mega large project in excess of $80,000, $90,000 and above, right? Never, ever pay up front. Most of the time, bye-bye. You'll never see it again. They're hard to get a hold of. They never show up. If they do show up, it's a really crappy job, and you guys do the suffering. Never pay a job up front, okay? Ever. Just make sure that they understand that, hey, they're going to be fronting some costs, and you know, after they may put it on like a weekly payment or a bi-weekly, you know, like once every 2 weeks. Okay, that's fine. Maybe it's hey, you get through 50% of the project, I'll pay you 50% at the completion. You get the difference minus a 10% holdback, just to make sure everything is done good, everything's good to go, and then they get what's called the residual, right, or the reserve, and then we're done, right? Always make sure that you do that. In as much as, if the job's not done, don't pay for the whole job, ever. Always make sure that you have something to hold over the contractor to ensure they get the work done, all right? That is something that is a given with anybody that we hand out. And in fact, you will never pay them fully until the job is done. And I will come out and take a look at it. These guys know it, so they know to communicate, they know to give a better job and best pricing, because I always ask, okay, what price did he quote you? All right, how long did he take to do it? Is he done? Is it done to your satisfaction? Perfect. If it's not, hey man, I need you to go out. These guys aren't happy with this. Can you get out there, say, in the next couple of days? Fabulous, right? Problem solved, okay? That is the benefit of a vetted contractor that we refer out, because we do hand out 15 referrals a week. You get that benefit, right? We have, leverage is really, not the really word, but you know what? They know to do a good job, because you know, we're a pool of referrals to them, because they give good pricing, good quality service, great product, and great follow-up. That's what you're looking for, right? Okay, they may not be the cheapest, but they're definitely not the most expensive, but they were always going to give you a top-notch product. It's the only reason we recommend them, right? Okay. Refusal give you a written guarantee, right? Right there. Any contractor that is not willing to give you a written guarantee, get them out of there. Everybody should at least give you a 1-year workmanship, okay? We were out meeting with a plumber not long ago. Actually, it was on Wednesday. We were out meeting and interviewing a new plumber, because plumbers are hard to, they're a hard critter to capture. It's like herding cats, right? They're always really busy. They're hard to get a hold of. And that is a requirement of ours. So we were out there, and I said, hey, what kind of warranty do you give? He says, we actually give a written 10-year workmanship guarantee. If it's something that we did or we're procuring costs for, we fix it at no cost. Woo! I thought, wow, 10 years? This guy got to stay online. And then, of course, you know, they actually had really good remarks. So when I looked them up, and yeah, they've got not just one, hey, this guy did a great job. I have 1 review, 5 stars. It's probably his grandmother. But if they have 20 reviews and you're seeing a consistent pattern, you know, okay, so there's a little bit more validation. So we check the bonding, we check the licensing, and check complaints with L&I, check the state, if they ever let their insurance lapse, have they ever changed names recently? Are there any similar names? Things like this. Hey, has he ever been licensed as a plumber under a different company? Things like this to make sure that, you know, that they're a good quality contractor before we will ever send somebody out, right? Now, granted, he's definitely not the cheapest, but, and yes, he was a little late to the site, but they did communicate back. They gave a written guarantee. They gave it to him right then and there, fully documented, and with a very clear itemized list of what to expect. That's a winner-winner chicken dinner, okay? That's a sign of a competent and professional contractor with systems, okay? Which is invaluable. All right, so let's talk about cash under the table, right? Okay, this is kind of a double-edged sword, that catch-22, right? All right, so there are some contractors that we may recommend, okay, And if it's a small, something small, and you want to save 10%, right, because that's all you're saving is the tax, sometimes you say, well, you do cash. Yeah, okay, yeah, so we can do that. It's under the table. I never recommend that, ever. Never, ever, ever, ever. And you might say, well, why? Let's get back to the prior one, the written guarantee. You need a written guarantee. Now, granted, if it's somebody we sent you, sure, they're going to go back and take care of it, especially when I call, okay? But always, always get a guarantee. Get it in writing. Have some recourse, all right? Make sure that if something happens, which invariably it doesn't mean it's bad workmanship, it's just sometimes doo-doo happens. So make sure that you have some form of documentation to fall back on, okay? 10%, many times, unless you're, a couple $100,000, really, it's not adding up to a whole lot. Not enough to have to rehire and bring somebody back out. And there's where you value your 10%. If I had to hire somebody to come back out and fix this, is that cash price, that 10%, is it really worth my time? And I hate to say it, 99% of the time, nope, it's not. So just pay it. Better to pay a little bit more than you planned, a little less than you should have. And it only matters when it matters. All right, so moving on, referral selling. This is another favorite of mine. Recently, a client of mine said, hey, we got this painter who came out and said he's willing to give us a really good discount to paint our house. And he said he'll knock 10% off if he can put one of his signs in the front yard saying, hey, painted by, and I'll delete their name, painting company. And I said, really? I said, God, send over the bid to me. I'd love to take a look at it. Well, it's just a standard 2,700 square foot house, 2-story, no frills, no thrills. Everything's in really good shape. He was going to charge them, basically $4,800 after the 10% discount. And I thought, wow, let me get my guys out there. I'll get Prism out there, and Prism Painting and Sheetrock, great company. I'll get them out there, right? And their price came in at $3,800 for the whole thing. So just because they're willing to discount, you need to make sure that you're actually getting fair pricing, because in that case, not only were they charging more, but to me, that's just a dishonest tactic. So be mindful of that. Again, reach out to us. If you've got a contractor, you're looking at it, and you want to run it past us, okay? That's fine. We'll make sure that you're taken care of. We'll give you the thumbs up, thumbs down based on what we know about the company. We can do a quick search, make sure that they're valid, licensed, bonded, and no complaints, right? I can tell you where to go to do that. Go to laborandindustries.gov, right? I think it's lni.gov, and you can pull up contractors. You can go to the Secretary of State for Washington for corporations. You can pull it up. Hey, are they still valid? Are they, are they actively licensed? Search their name. Is there any other contract, companies that are now inactive that they've been attached to? These are all things that are easy to do to vet that. The biggest one, referrals, right? Make sure that you have a chance to talk to a couple of referrals. Okay, so for landscaping, things like that, small little, okay, you don't necessarily need to do that, but big ticket items, really anything above $4,000 or $5,000, yeah, definitely get some referrals, right? Get some references. What makes sense, okay? All right, so the bonus. Here's the bonus. And the reason I say that number 11 is a bonus for you, because I always ask this whenever one of our clients, hired somebody that we had no idea, and I asked him, I said, and I'll ask him this question: hey, when you were talking with this guy and negotiating, for him to do work, what's your gut feel about it? Like, well, actually, we've kind of felt kind of squirrely about it. Okay, understand your gut 90% of the time is correct. Follow your gut. If there's something not quite right, okay, ask, right? Ask me, ask them, bring it out, get the pink elephant out of the room, ask, okay? Or make sure that you vet them even harder, okay? And that's really the key thing. And if anything else comes out of this, understand that getting written guarantees, making sure you get references, making sure that they actually are, pricing things correctly, that their estimate is accurate, and that they have a good, warranty that goes with it. All right, that should cover it for today. If you have any questions, up in the upper right-hand corner, let me know. If you need anything, we're here for you. We have a vetted set of contractors. We'll send them off to you. Let us know what you want. We, again, send out about 15 of them every single week. All right? Let us know what you need. If we have a qualified contractor that fits that, we'll send them to you. All right? No strings attached. Just let them know that we referred you so that they give you our pricing, which is one of the commitments that they give us. In the meantime, have an absolutely beautiful Saturday. If you get a chance, lots of things going on in the community today. Have an absolutely fabulous, all the best to you and your family, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks.